Hello and welcome to part 7 of the video. We are now moving on to task 4, the database labels. So please, as I said, read what it says. Don't skip instructions, don't just assume. Okay, so you are going to prepare labels for the company. Produce labels from all the data which are arranged in 2 columns. Include cars which have not yet been dispatched. And include records where VIN begins with 37, the country field is Spain, the power field is E. Okay, so we're going to work on that part first. Now, as you know, you have produced a database with 2 tables, so there are relationships built, and of course the relationship will come into this. So as I said, make sure you read the questions carefully. Now, this is going to be produced from a query so we can get the results that we want. So we go to create and we go to query design. Okay, and we add our S16 cars table. So, and of course include the distributors table. So we've got both tables ready and waiting. So I'm just going to extend this so we can see what's going on. Right, let's move this over here so you can see our relationship has been made. And I'm going to move all of these fields down. Okay, now, so the first thing it says is that it wants the cars that have not yet been dispatched. So we're going to do that. So we go to distributor, dispatched, here we are, and we simply write no. Okay, because remember it's a yes, no field. So let's look at the next part. The VIN begins with 37. Now, this is a little hard because we need any of the vehicle registrations that begin with 37. Now, it's not a good idea to put in less than or, more than or equal to 37. So we want the ones that are like, so we type in like, 37, and we add a star. Now, the star is the wild card. Okay, and what you're asking the database here, you were saying you'd like any of the VINs that begin with 37, and anything after that is fine. Okay, so as long as they all begin with 37. Now, next thing we need to do is we want the country field to be Spain. So as I said, this is quite simple at the moment because it's a query. Now, as you can see, the country is not here. Okay, so we need to get that from our second database. So we just simply drag the country field down. Here we go. And we type in Spain. Now, next part, we want the power field to be E. Okay, engine size is E. And then, now, before you do anything, you make sure you read the rest of the paper and what they're asking for. So, now we want to show only the fields that begin that are VIN, model, port, and distributor. Okay, so here you can see it says show, and all these boxes are ticked. Now, they don't all need to be ticked. So we're going to take out the ones that we don't need to see. So the ones, the ones that we want to see are VIN, model, port, and distributor. Okay, so this one's already unticked. We don't want this. We want distributor. Colour, we don't need. Cost, we don't need. Engine size. And we want VIN and we want model. I don't think we want power. Nope, we don't want power, but we can see that we've only got a few showing. So one that's missing is port. So we need to drag that down and keep that on show. Okay, so we go to port, drag that down. So this is why you must always double check what you're doing. And port is on show. So we've got port, distributor, model, and VIN. Okay, so now we're going to run our query. And something's not quite right there, so I'm just going to check what's wrong. Okay, so something's not quite right here, so I'm going to double check my query. And so my query was basically begins with 37, wildcard, country Spain, and power field is E. So VIN 37, model power. So as you can see, I've accidentally put engine size into E. I didn't mean to do that. It was a genuine mistake, but this is why we double check. Okay, so now that should come back. Here we are. Good, that's all come back. So as you can see, all of the VINs are 37. The model was micro eco, and the distributor is here, and the port is here as well. Okay, so apologise for that mistake. That was a genuine error, but as you can see, it can happen to the best of us. So that's why we must always make sure that we don't panic during our mistakes. We do take time out and we do check. Okay, it happens all the time. Now, we need to save this query. So I'm going to save my query, and it may be a good idea to save your query. So if you read down here, so it says display fields name as well as data, larger font. So there's no heading that we really need to check for. So, but obviously, please do you save your queries as sensible names. Okay, I don't want to hear of and I don't want to see any silly naming conventions in your work at all. Okay, it doesn't look good on you and it doesn't look like look good on the examiner. So I'm going to call mine QRY, which is short for query, and I'm going to call it data labels. Okay, so I'm going to press OK, and then I'm going to close this. Now I've done my query, the results have come back, I've checked my mistakes, I'm now ready to make my labels. It's very, very simple and very straightforward. So we go to create, and to make the labels we use a wizard. As you can see, I can't click on it here, so I need to click on my query, and then I click on labels and the wizard comes up. I'm going to keep the first one here. I'm going to go to next. These are all fine. Now we need to put our labels in. Now if we just move these fields over, is all it's going to show is just simply the information on the fields. So if we look at our exam here, it says display the field name as well as the data. So if I just move those fields over, all it's going to show is the data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type up each field. So VIN, make sure you put a space. So there's a space between the field name and the data, and I'm going to move it over. Then I'm going to type model, and make sure you check your spelling, please. Move the field over. Distributor. Double check. Space, move over. And enter. Port. Space. Move the field over. Go to next. And next. And so I'm just going to leave that as it is. Finish. And you can see here are my data labels. So now what we need to do is we need to build our titles. So to build our titles, now you're probably wondering what that is, but if you read down the list, you can see here in larger font at the top of each label, include the heading warning, check, charge, voltage, delivery. Before delivery, so include your name, centre number and candidate number at the bottom of each label. Okay, very easy and simple to do this. And you close the print preview, go to view. Oh, it's already in design view, so that's good. So we need to move these down. Now what I don't suggest is you pulling these footers down, because you need your labels to actually look like what's on the screen here or on your paper. So you can see there's supposed to be about 8 labels. Okay, so double check that after as well. Now I'm just going to select all of these. You can just simply draw over them using the mouse, drag them down. Okay, and we're going to start, so drag it down a bit more, start building our titles. Now please make sure you use a text label. Do not use the text box, because as some of you would have seen in class, it will build a parameter. So text label, just simply type warning, and then draw another text label underneath, and then check, I think it was voltage charge, wasn't charge voltage, sorry, that's why we double check. I have a brain like a sieve sometimes as well. Just double check it again because I want to get it right before delivery. Okay, before delivery. Okay, now line them up nice and neatly. Okay, so you can use the guides here. Okay, so I'm just going to line these up so they're nice and neat. And under here, obviously, you write your name, candidate number, and centre number. Oops, where's that gone, that label? Where did it go? Never mind, just draw another one. Ah, there we are. So, name is price. And as you know, I'm trying to do this as realistic as possible. So, candidate number and centre. And there we are. Right, you can see here that the font is grey, okay, and this one here needs to be bigger, okay. So remember what it says on the exam paper, okay. In a larger font at the top of each label, include the heading, so it needs to be a larger font. Right, so these fonts here, if we look, I think it's in arrange, is it right? No, format, sorry, apologies. 8, so I'm going to make these, just hold down control and select both of them. I'm going to make these 12, okay, so they do actually look bigger. And you can see the font is grey, so I'm going to change that to black. Move this out so it all fits. I may leave, well, I'm going to change this to black. I'm going to leave this as the colour that it is because it's just my centre number and candidate number, but I'm going to change it to black. Okay, now I'm going to double check my labels. So I go back home, go to view, and go to print. Don't go to layout view because layout view will only show one side. So if you go to print preview, you can actually see what it's going to look like when it prints up. And we can see these look okay. So I'm going to go to design view. You can see there's no more room really, so I'm going to move these up. So just fiddle around a little bit. I'm going to select all of these using control, moving them up, and I'm going to move my centre number up, move this page footer up, and I'm going to go to home and print preview. Now I've actually got 8 on one page, so it does look like what the exam paper wants. Okay, 8 to one page, just using that bit of space there. Now, as you can see, you've got to save and print your labels, and your printer is making sure you've entered your centre number, candidate number, and name on each of your labels. You'll be marked for that. Total is 9 marks, and the marks are based on what you print out. Okay, so make sure you print them out by the end of the exam. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video, and go to part 8 for mail merge.